$204 million vanished in Las Vegas in a single weekend, not from the casino's vaults, but from one man's fortune. Terrance Watanabe was the CEO behind a $100 million a year company and a celebrated philanthropist. But after cashing out, he became the casino's most valuable player, lured by luxury, unlimited perks, and a level of access even Vegas had never seen before. What could drive a disciplined businessman to risk everything at the tables? And why did Caesars do everything in their power to keep him playing? The true cost and the shocking consequences reveal just how high the stakes can go if you dare to step into this world. Born in Omaha in 1957, Terrance Watanabe grew up learning the rhythms of business from his father, Harry, who built Oriental Trading Company out of a single storefront. The company's catalog became a fixture in schools and church basements across America, shipping everything from plastic leis to rubber ducks. By the time Terrance took over in the 1990s, Oriental Trading was pulling in more than $100 million a year. Employees remember a leader who was always first in and last out, obsessed with new markets, and willing to gamble on big inventory bets if it meant the chance to double sales. The company's expansion wasn't just about numbers, it was about pride, about honoring his father's legacy and proving that a family business from Nebraska could compete with the giants. Terrance pushed for direct mail innovations and bulk sales to schools, growing the catalog's reach coast to coast. He wasn't flashy, but he liked to remind people that every dollar mattered. Every order was a promise to a customer, and every mistake was a lesson you paid for twice. In 2000, after years of relentless growth and with the company valued higher than ever, he sold his stake to Brentwood Associates. The sale brought in a windfall, well over $100 million, enough to make him one of Omaha's wealthiest sons. For a while, he poured much of that fortune into philanthropy. He wrote checks to AIDS research foundations and arts programs, showing up at charity galas with the same energy he once brought to the warehouse floor. Those who knew him then describe a man who wanted to give back, who saw his money as a tool to make a difference, not just a ticket to luxury. But stepping away from the company left a void. The schedules, the goals, the constant pressure, all gone in a single transaction. Friends recall that Terrance seemed restless, searching for the next challenge, the next rush. Without the demands of business to anchor his days, the open horizon of possibility stretched out in front of him. For a man who'd spent his life chasing growth, the question was no longer how to build the business. It was what to do with the freedom and the fortune he now held. By the time Terrance Watanabe touched down in Las Vegas, casino executives were already competing for his attention. At Caesar's Palace, the welcome was anything but ordinary. Instead of a standard suite, he was handed the keys to a sprawling 3-bedroom penthouse, complete with a private butler and a view over the Strip. Every detail was designed to signal, you're not just a guest here, you're royalty. The perks kept coming. Each month, Caesars wired $12,500 to cover his airfare, no questions asked. The casino's gift shops became his personal playground, with $500,000 in store credit waiting to be spent on jewelry, fine art, or anything else that caught his eye. Staff hovered close, ready to deliver anything he wanted: meals, drinks, even tickets to headline concerts. If he craved steak at 4 a.m., it arrived on a silver tray. If he wanted a private table, the floor was cleared. Watanabe's loyalty didn't just earn him comps, it changed the rules. Caesars built a new tier in its rewards program just for him, a level above even the legendary 7 stars. They called it the Chairman tier, a title reserved for a single player whose wagers dwarfed anything the casino had seen before. The message was clear: keep playing, and the world is yours. It wasn't just about luxury. The attention created a cocoon, insulating him from the outside world and the reality of what was at stake. Hosts tracked his preferences, refilled his glass before it was empty, and made sure the action never stopped. The more he played, the more the casino gave, blurring the line between privilege and entrapment. Every gesture, every upgrade, every favor pulled him deeper into a world where the normal rules of money, time, and consequence seemed to disappear. Inside the penthouse suites, the party never really stopped. Terrance Watanabe played for hours that bled into days, rarely leaving the tables except to sleep off a few hours in a room that cost more per night than most people's monthly rent. Casino logs from 2007 show sessions that ran 24 hours straight. Blackjack, baccarat, roulette, always at the highest limits. Dealers swapped out in shifts, but Watanabe stayed put, fueled by a stream of top-shelf vodka and whatever else the staff brought to keep him comfortable. Some nights, he tipped hundreds just to keep the drinks coming. On the busiest weekends, casino staff delivered 2 or 3 bottles of vodka a day to his suite, and floor hosts hovered close, ready to refill his glass the moment it was empty. He claimed later that it wasn't just alcohol. In lawsuits, Watanabe alleged that casino employees encouraged him to take prescription painkillers, though no regulator or court ever confirmed this part of the story. What's certain is that he was often visibly intoxicated, slurring his words and losing track of time, yet the action never paused. Staff kept the chips flowing, even as his bets climbed to $50,000 a hand. The money moved faster than most people could imagine. On some nights, he lost millions before the sun came up. Not every casino wanted his business. In 2006, Wynn Las Vegas cut him off completely, citing his addiction and their duty under gaming regulations. But at Caesars and the Rio, the doors stayed open. The more he lost, the more the casino offered. Credit extensions, personal attendance, luxury gifts, anything to keep him playing. Family and friends tried to intervene, but inside the cocoon of VIP treatment, their voices faded into the background. For Watanabe, the cycle was relentless. Play, lose, numb the pain, and play again. The line between privilege and exploitation blurred with every marker signed and every hour lost to the tables. 4 felony charges landed on Terrance Watanabe's doorstep in December 2008. Prosecutors accused him of defrauding Las Vegas casinos out of $14.7 million in unpaid markers, gambling IOUs that once moved as freely as chips across the felt. The numbers were staggering, but the reality behind them was even harsher. Over the course of his high-roller run, Watanabe lost more than $204 million, enough to rattle even the most hardened casino executives. By the end, his debts and losses had outpaced anything Vegas had ever seen from a single player. The legal battle that followed was a spectacle in its own right. Watanabe's lawyers argued he was plied with alcohol and prescription painkillers by casino staff, impairing his judgment and making it impossible to walk away. The casinos denied wrongdoing, but behind closed doors, their own compliance teams had flagged repeated violations of responsible gaming laws. In 2010, the criminal case was swept away in a confidential settlement. The charges disappeared, but so did what remained of Watanabe's fortune. Regulators didn't let Caesars off so easily. In 2013, the Nevada Gaming Control Board fined the company $225,000 for allowing Watanabe to gamble while visibly intoxicated, a record penalty at the time. The casino quietly overhauled its policies, but the damage was done. Watanabe, once a fixture in penthouse suites and private gaming salons, faded from the strip. By 2017, he was battling prostate cancer and asking for help online, launching a GoFundMe campaign to cover surgery costs. The man who once lost millions in a weekend now struggled to pay his medical bills. That's the cruel math of gambling addiction. Every win is temporary, but the losses can last a lifetime. In 2007, Terrance Watanabe lost up to $204 million at Caesars Palace and the Rio, an amount that represented more than 5% of Harrah's Las Vegas gambling revenue that year. The documentary has shown how Watanabe's business success and philanthropy ultimately gave way to a destructive cycle of high-stakes gambling, fueled by unprecedented casino perks and extended play sessions. Regulatory records confirm that Caesars was fined $225,000 for allowing him to gamble while visibly intoxicated, and court filings show felony charges were later dismissed through a confidential settlement. The precise details of Watanabe's agreements with the casinos and the exact circumstances that led to each decision at the gaming tables remain sealed from public view. Today, his story is being adapted for film and serves as a documented example of how Las Vegas's pursuit of high roller profits can intersect with personal loss and public scrutiny. The Watanabe case remains one of the largest and most controversial gambling collapses in American history,